comes from Maras Pamias, from the that upper part where it originates. If someone says, I'm not going to drink water from Maras Pamias, Itzalei B'Kula Yardana. You can't drink any water from the Jordan. Zachrusei Dedama Kavta. The main part of the blood is in the liver. Kid Rabbi Yitzchak. This goes according to Rabbi Yitzchak again. Dam Rabbi Yitzchak Kavid Shenimuach Metami Beravias. If there was a liver of a corpse that dissolved, so that would make the tumah go out if there was a revius there, because that's all considered blood. And a revius, that measurement of a revius, 3 ounces, whatever, that's enough to contaminate with touching. Do we say a revius contaminates in a tent as well? I'm not sure. I don't think it does. It contaminate in a tent through oil. It will contaminate in the tent as well. Zachrusei Demaya Paras. The main part of water is from the Euphrates. Dam Rav Yehuda Marav. Rav Yehuda says in the name of Rav, Hanoyider Mimei Paras. Someone takes an oath that he's not going to have any benefit from the Euphrates. Also b'chol mei meshabayim. He can't drink any water in the world. Say, hey chidami, how is this? If he says, I'm not going to drink water from the Euphrates, then only the Euphrates he doesn't drink from. But he can drink from other rivers. He says, I'm not going to drink water that comes from Paras. And then, because of the water cycle, it's got to all be coming from everywhere else. But here we say that the main part comes from Paras. Dam Rav Yehuda Amarav Kal Naris Lamata Mishalosh Naris the Gimel Naharis Lamata Mi Paras. Because Rav Yehuda says that all the rivers flow out of the 3 main rivers, and those 3 rivers flow out of the Euphrates. Remember the rivers that we spoke about: the Chidekel, which is the Tigris; the Pishon, which is the Nile; and the Gihon, which is in the land of Israel; and the Euphrates. So because all the rivers come from the Euphrates, those 3 rivers come, and all other rivers in the world come from those 3 rivers. So, if he says he takes a vow from the Euphrates, the water that comes from the Euphrates, he can't drink any water in the world.
Mississippi comes from
something like that.
I thought there was 4 different ones that came out of Gan Eden.
Yeah. So here, look at this. The Gemara asks straight away. Into the million, but there's the Mississippi. No, into the Midland is springs that come out of mountains, and it says why are you saying that that's coming from the Euphrates? Amar of Mesharshia Hanu Sulmei de Prasnenu. Those are ladders of the Euphrates. That means that the water goes underground, the aqueducts, and it comes out. There must have been there's. How would that work? There must be pressure from...
That's what it says in there. It says the water pressure pushes these underground streams upward to an equal height. So saying that, I don't know the science in this, that if, let's say, the mountain is 2,000 feet high, that they actually have a underground river or whatever that's 2,000 feet below, and that can do the... I don't know. I thought water levels all end up level.
That's what the Gemara is saying, that it's the same. So why is
Yeah, what it's saying here...
So why is the Yom Melech and all those things staying down?
What happens is there could be water pressure from the sides, from the oceans, that cause the water to come up in the center. Isn't that how it works here in Florida? in Silver Springs, up there in Ocala, you have these springs that are there because of the water pressure from the oceans on both sides. pushing underground, and it causes the water to come up.
When the mountains melt, that's when there's flooding.
Okay, so that's water that's coming from the ice, the snow on the mountains.
No, but it goes through the system. You're right, because of the pressure, so this goes higher.
Uh-huh.
But it's coming, the extra water is coming from there. The pressure is always there. The pressure is always there. It doesn't flood.
Right.
It only floods when it's more, when there's
Right.
excess.
Right. Okay. Whatever the case is, it's very clear to them that there's a water cycle, and it's not new water. That's one thing that's clear. That's a basic thing here, that there is water that's going around. Okay. V'haksiv v'hanara ravihu pras. What are you telling me? That all the waters come from the Euphrates. It says there's 4, there's 3 and another one. It doesn't say that there's 3 that come out of the Euphrates. No, you're not reading it correct. When it says in the 4th river is the Euphrates, what it means to say is the 4th river is the original one, the Euphrates. That original river is the Euphrates. As it says that the river came out of the garden and broke into 4 rivers. So that one river, that 4th river, is the original one. Tanya, Rabbi Meir Eimer. Rabbi Meir says Yuval Shmai. The name of the Euphrates is really Yuval. Shenemar v'haya keit shasal al mayim, val Yuval yishlach shrashav. That you'll be like a tree that's planted by the water, and into the Yuval, which is the Euphrates, it sends its roots. So why was it nicknamed Pras if its real name is Yuval? Shemem of Parim V'Ravim. The reason why it's called Pras is because the water becomes more on its own. It generates on its own more water. It's not coming from rain. Messiah Leila Shmuel. This is a proof to Shmuel. Damar Shmuel Nara Mikipe Mivrach. Shmuel holds that rivers, how do the rivers, sometimes there's more water, sometimes there's less water. Where is that coming from? He says that those waters are coming from the shore, or from the aqueducts that are underneath. It's not coming from rain. Now, what's the difference if it comes from rain or not? The difference is that there's a halacha that if you need them to use the mikveh, you can't use rainwater that's flowing. Rainwater needs to be still. Rainwater that's flowing is a problem. But water that comes from the aqueducts, comes from the aquifers, from underground, that's allowed to flow. The well springs are allowed to be flown. So if these flowing rivers the water is coming from rain, then you can't use it because it's zoichlin. But if it's coming from the bottom, then you can use it. And another halacha is that if it would be a zav that needs to be toivel in a well, so then you could be toivel here in the well. But if it's coming from rain, a zav can't be toivel in a mikveh. He needs a mayan. So if it's coming from the bottom, then you can be. Then if the waters are coming from underneath the earth, then that's
moving.
That's better. If two things are better, it's moving and it's allowed, and also it's good for a zav, for that type of tava. A lake is still, but water that's flowing, it's moving, so then that's a problem if it's coming from rain. Rainwater that's flowing is a problem.
The lake is rainwater.
Yeah, if a lake is from rainwater, let's say it's from rainwater, but if it's still, then it's not a problem. If the lake is moving, usually a lake is still.
And it runs deep. Still waters run deep.
Upliga de Rav. However, this argues on Rav. Why are we saying this supports Shmuel? Shmuel said that the Euphrates Shmuel says that the rivers get their water from underground. We said that the fact that Reb Meir says that the Euphrates is called Yuval, but it's nicknamed the Euphrates because it's nicknamed Pras because it's para, because it produces its own water. So then that supports Shmuel that says that the water comes from underneath. However, it argues on Rav. Dam Ravami Amar Rav, because Ravami said in the name of Rav. We had Ravami once today already, but that Ravami was explaining Reb Meir. Ravami says in the name of Rav, Mitra b'Marava Sadarava Pras. If it rains in the east, in the west rather, if it rains in Israel, then we can see it by the Euphrates. If there's more water in the Euphrates, that means it's raining in Israel. That means that the Euphrates is not getting its water from underneath, it's getting its water from the rain. Avu de Shmuel's father, Avadu lebenasi mikvah b'yemi Nisan, u'mafti b'yemi Tishrei. Shmuel's father made for his daughters a mikvah in the days of Nisan. He didn't want to use the rivers in the days of Nisan because the snow and everything, the rain from the winter is in the rivers, and it's flowing rain. That's a problem. So he would have to dig them a mikveh for them to use. And umafti b'yem Tishrei, however, after the summer in Tishrei, he would make mats for them to put down. There's two interpretations. He would put mats on the floor that they could walk on, so that they don't get the dirt in between their toes when they're going to the mikveh. Or he would set up curtains so that when they go to the mikveh, they didn't feel that people were watching them, and they wouldn't feel rushed. So they would go to the mikveh patiently. So he would do that. They would go to the rivers in Tishrei. The rivers in Tishrei you are allowed to use because it's after the summer, it's after the dry season. There was no rain. And in Nisan, you would need to have separate mikvahs.
There was no flow. It was settled
in Tishrei. Yomi Nisan Savala Karavami. In the days of Nisan, he held like Savala Karav. Dam Ravami Amarav. Mikvah. No, I have to go back. Mikvah b'yami Nisan Savala Karav Dam Ravami Amarav Mitra b'Marav Sadarava Pras. Because Rav says that if it rains in Israel, in the west, we'll see that water in the Euphrates. The big testimony that it rained is the Euphrates, if the water rose. Well, so why would Shmuel make mikvahs in Nisan? Because maybe the rainwater was stronger than the original water that was there. And the rainwater would be the majority. And then that would be a problem to use this as a mikvah. Mafti b'yemi Tishrei. Why would he do? It just says Mafti b'yemi Tishrei. But in Yemi Tishrei, it was fine to use the rivers, and he would make these mats, which either meant mats to walk on or mats to separate from people watching. Pligi didei adidei. Now he argues with himself. There's two interpretations. Either Shmuel contradicts himself, or his father. Or if Shmuel's father is contradicting something Shmuel said. The Amar Shmuel, because Shmuel says, Ein amayim netarim b'zeichlim ela pras b'yemi Tishrei. Pras you were allowed to use in the days of Tishrei. That would mean that others you weren't allowed to. That would mean that really Shmuel says that rivers get their water from underneath. Here he says it's only pras in the days of Tishrei. Shmuel says that rivers mikipe, they get it from the shore. Another interpretation here is that it contradicts what Shmuel's father did, because Shmuel's father would not allow them to use the rivers in the winter, and Shmuel himself would say that he could.
I just, yeah, it was just going to announce that. Yeah.